I'm not going to mention the people who inspired me to do this because I don't want to be accused of grifting or piggybacking or whatever it's called nowadays. But I want to do this because I genuinely feel that I need to express myself on certain topics. And more importantly, I know there are others who want to express themselves too, but are probably, too shy, or they physically can't, or don't have time, and or maybe just too lazy. Whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. Look, I don't have any video making skills. I'm not making any fancy videos with this. I'm just gonna talk about shit, right? That's it. I don't have any fancy equipment or cameras or whatever. I'm using like basic iPad, and I do have a microphone. I just don't have the adapter to plug it in yet. Again, doesn't matter. Not important. So yeah, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame or to go big or anything like that. I'm merely just doing this as an expressive outlet, mostly to like help myself because I, I, I found myself needing it lately with the amount of crap going on in the game industry. So I'm going to tell you exactly why. I've been getting increasingly frustrated with specific new topics, mostly revolving around the game industry, and I found that I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it or rant, right? And that frustrated me a little more than I expected it would, actually. I've always been pretty mentally strong and I can like kind of keep things to myself, but lately it's just been kind of getting out of hand, right? See, my wife doesn't want to constantly hear about this shit, and I understand that. She doesn't want to hear me bitching about the game industry, how this company insulted us, or how this dev said this dumb thing, and she doesn't. And I know it's annoying. I know it's annoying that that I do that. So I needed to find a different outlet, a different way, and this is it. So, look, we're annoying, all right. We're annoying when we bitch and complain, but right now we need to be. But I wholly understand that people need this outlet. It's a non-violent release, right? We're entitled to it. So I want this channel to be a place where we can all vent in the comments, right? Like just say what you need to say. It's where you can read and write that agreement or frustration. When you put the feeling into words, you feel a hell of a lot better. I mean, it's the whole reason why I'm making these videos, right? It's mainly just so I have a way. I just need to make them, right? I need to say something about it. It's not that I'm gonna make a difference. I doubt that. This is not my aim, but I mean, you never know, right? So, like, I know there's a lot of places like that for you guys already. There's like a ton of like, other streamers and stuff like that, and that's cool. I like a lot of those guys too. But just remember, I honestly just started this for me. I'm mostly doing it for me, but I know that somebody will gain some kind of benefit, even if it's one person, 5 people. It doesn't matter. It might help somebody else, right? So everyone in the world thinks differently, to one degree or another, and maybe I have a different take. I don't know. I'll never know. I just gotta say it. I'm not trying to impress anyone or be flashy or to make something out of this. I just want to be me and say the things that are frustrating me. I did make a script, sure, but I don't want to seem like an idiot on camera, right? So, and I just think that right now it's gotten so bad, and it's just what precisely is frustrating me right now. Well, lately I found myself digging deeper and deeper into this pile of shit we call the game industry. And I'll be honest, I wasn't watching every streamer or reading every media outlet, or I was more the guy who just watched the after videos, right? The summaries, so to speak. But lately, it's gotten so bad, that so blatantly obviously bad, that there's no way I wouldn't be made aware of it. It's spilled over. There's just so much garbage and gunk coming out of this crap. And I know that everyone has their own particular reasons as to why. So I have my own reasons, right? My own beliefs and my own these modern politics, if you want to call it that. But it's just so much shit that's mixed in with more shit. And when you keep piling it on top, you end up getting a very, very receptive audience. Right now, the gaming industry, the gaming audience is very, receptive. They are finally lashing out. They are finally not taking this shit. I mean, how often have we been talking about like Call of Duty being the same game every single time it releases, and Call of Duty trying to constantly push new things onto us, saying, "Oh, this is what you want. This is what you want. You just don't know it yet." Like, yeah, I want to go running around as Nicki Minaj and shooting a gun. Look, I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan. I'm going to be honest with you. The first Call of Duty I played was Black Ops 1. And then after that, I just kind of stopped playing. I played a little bit of Black Ops 2. I played a little bit of Black Ops 3. Like, a little bit of Black Ops 2. More Black Ops 3, but a lot of Black Ops 1. It was actually the first FPS shooter I ever played. So I liked it. Naturally, I liked it a lot. And it was a good game. It was simple. It was straightforward. And I just don't see that anymore. It's all microtransactions. And that brings me to my next point. I think the core problem, well, actually, you know what? One of the core problems is the live service bloat. I mean, a lot of people are going to agree with this. And I'm not saying that all games shouldn't have live service. I'm not saying that. There are games that do have it and benefit from it. And I think that it actually, it's good for that space, right? Fortnite, for example, is a good example. The issue is simple. These companies are trying to sell you a $50, $60, or $70 promise, right, instead of a finished product. This has been a problem. It kind of started once developers were able to update their game after release. We all know that. We've probably seen tons of videos. I've seen videos about it, and it makes sense. Yeah, surely, of course, it makes sense. The moment that they were able to update their games before fully releasing them, before fully fixing them, because there was no such thing as updating a disc game with no online interaction. That's it. Once you sold that disc, that was it. That was it, man. When I had Super Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube, there was no updates for this game. All right, Mario Kart Double Dash, there was just no updates for these games. I played these games as a kid, and I enjoyed them so much. I mean, I remember I had two younger brothers, and I remember that we would like get up in the middle of the night sometimes, and we weren't really allowed to play, obviously, 2 in the morning or whatever. And we would like put a blanket over the TV, hang it over ourselves, and we were just like hiding underneath and playing on the, Super Smash Bros. Or whatever. Those were times, man. Those were times. And that's just, I'm not saying that I'm looking for that specific experience, of course, but right now the gaming industry doesn't even reflect half that. But the amount of fun that you get out of a game now is just few and far between. Like, very specific games that you can name. I made a list of the games that I would just like, that I consider the best, that I would go back and actually get that feeling again. And what's worse is there are some games that are actually, or developers, sorry, there are some developers who are actually stopping you from playing some of these games by, making maps elite or whatever. So look, they don't want you to finish their game, right? That's the reason for these live service bloats. That's the reason for this. Like, you invest money into these games, and then you play them, and then they come out with a new one. It just basically, you don't see, a lot of the times you don't feel it or realize it right off the bat that they're actually resetting your progress and you're starting over again with the same shit. It's the same shit as the game before it. Just looks slightly different or slightly better graphics, and sometimes it's not even that anymore. They want to turn it into like a chore, right? They want to turn it into a habit, and they're trying to make you get into this habit, this flow of spending money, right? A second job with limited time cosmetics and battle passes that don't only serve one purpose: fear of missing out. That's the whole point. This is why I actually praise Marvel Rivals when I started playing it, because I play a lot of Overwatch, and I know it's a competitive game. I don't really play too heavily competitive anymore. I kind of just, have fun with it, and been loving the whole stadium thing. It's a glitchy game, but I do like the game. And I was going to stop playing Overwatch 2 completely, because I was playing it since Overwatch 1, and that whole swap they did, that's like a whole different video, honestly. It can be. But after that swap that they did, I was kind of done. And it was kind of just feeling the same. It was feeling the same. Even with the new heroes, like Malga got released, and boy, do I love me a big boy with 2 miniguns. Now that is fun. However, like from moment of release, I knew right away that Malga was going to be a healing hogger. and that was gonna be a problem. But I didn't care. I still played him here and there. But the point is that Overwatch 2, again, we're not going to talk about how they went into live services and stuff like that, but it just became a huge problem with monetization and a huge problem with missing out with the battle passes. Marvel Rivals didn't do that. When I got into Marvel Rivals, sure, yeah, it felt like an Overwatch clone, but I love Marvel, and I like the characters in it. I think they did a good job. I think it plays good. Sure, I think they could have been a bit more original with some of the game modes, but at the end of the day, there's one thing I do appreciate about the game. The battle passes, once you buy them, you can go back. You can go back and finish them whenever. And this is crucial for somebody who works a 9 to 5 or just works more than that. I mean, let's be honest, you can't really make a living on a 9 to 5 anymore, but for those people who work, have kids and this and that, and they still want to play, it's just like, it's impossible to beat these battle passes. I mean, they're mainly tailored for younger kids, and you're talking like 15-year-olds, stuff like that, who have the time. And that's just, that's scummy, man. Like, you have these people rushing to pay. That's the whole reason why they have these, oh, pay for the first 20 tiers, because of that boost, because you know you're not going to make it. You know you're not going to be able to finish it. They're not building a world for you to enjoy. Right? They're trying to make money off you. They're building a Skinner box for your wallet. So one of the biggest things that I'm really tired of is the corporate jargon bullshit that we're constantly hearing. This whole fancy talk, this really, really nice talk that kind of like condescends you, belittles your intelligence, like makes you sound like an idiot, right? And they just kind of like, I think they're constantly kind of prodding us and just saying like, or I think they sit there around a big table when they're talking about it and just saying, you know, people are stupid. People are stupid. We need to treat them like they're stupid. We need to treat them like they're idiots. Because like that's how we're going to make money. And I'm not saying there aren't stupid people out there, but we are stupid for constantly buying the same shit over and over and not expecting more in return, because they know they're just using us. They're abusing us, and they're going to keep doing it. Call of Duty finally got their fair bit with Battlefield 6. And again, whole other topic, but I'm glad that happened. Very, very glad that happened. But again, you just gotta listen to how they talk about it, right? It's all about player engagement metrics. It's all about controlling how you engage in their game and how you, the player, are going to spend money in their game. That's what's important to them. They don't care about how much fun you're gonna have. They don't care that you're gonna invite your homie and, you know, play with your bro and have a good time. They don't care about that. They're not even thinking about that. They're not making the game and thinking, hey man, I really hope that John invites Timmy over, you know, they can have a blast playing my game. That is not what they're thinking at all. We all know that. And it's just, that's all they care about. Monetization of streams, the monetization, the battle pass, the this, the that, the $20 skins, the $50 skins, the stuff locked behind currency blocks, like the Diablo 4 horse skin that everyone was talking about when that came out. There was just so many things after another. It's just an endless fountain of crap. It's all purposely complicated corporate talk designed to confuse you, right? And cover up the dick move that they're pulling on you. All the shit that they're pulling on you. They should just have the honesty to say it, right? We couldn't finish the game, right? So we shipped it broken. That we gave it to you like this piece of crap that's just unfinished because we know you're gonna play it anyway. I really would rather that honesty. I think everybody would, right? If they would just say, "Oh, now we're gonna charge you every 3 months for the content, right? That should have been in the box on day one, and we're gonna charge you for that." Look at Starfield. Starfield is literally charging for mods. No shade to mod authors. I mod the hell out of games and I give to modders, and I appreciate modders a lot, and there are a lot of good modders out there. But for Starfield right now, selling mods that fix simple bugs that Bethesda could have done is just, I don't even know how to react to it. When I heard about it, I was like, oh my god. I played Starfield and I liked it. I have a whole, I honestly, I think I'm gonna make a whole review on Starfield because I did write it out just for fun, like kind of like when the game came out and I played a little bit. And I have my own how to say it, details on that game, and I just don't want to get into it right now. But I want to move on to my next topic, which is the death of quality. I think everyone can agree that quality has seen a major downhill spike of most games nowadays. There's a reason why the indie space is thriving, right? In fact, the whole reason why I actually decided to make this video, because the whole reason why I got into watching more YouTube videos and watching people talk about this and that was because of Silksong. Silksong spiked this catastrophic, like, turmoil across the gaming industry, and I just couldn't believe some of the entitlement from some of these like game journalists, some of these like other game developers, and I was just like, what on earth is going on here? They like it's their game. They can price it however they want. I get that it can affect the market. I get that. But I think that you got to be smart enough to understand that not every game follows the same metrics. There's a whole reason why AAA studios try to manufacture success by grabbing an indie game and dissecting it into pieces and figuring out what they did right and how they made so much money. There's a reason for that. So I think, what is the consequence of this live service obsession, right? This garbage. I think that the consequence to it is that you start getting, buggy launches, crappy games, just shit, a fountain of shit, right? Spewing more shit. The whole project is rushed to meet the need for a monetization window, not a quality window. They don't care about the quality. Look what happened to Dragon Age. I mean, even Dragon Age 3, Dragon Age 2 apparently was pushed out too soon, and they were told that it's not ready yet. They didn't care. Now, I'm not saying that game has monetization value, but they didn't care. And it started then. It starts before the live service. Games were declining before live service was a thing, because they just wanted to make more money. It's the greed. The greed is the core word to this. This is the foundation of how broken everything has gotten. More money. It's now a business transaction. It's now a way, trying to figure out a way to siphon more money from your wallet. Right? They don't see you as a player. They see you as a wallet. They see you as a vault to pull money from. That's what they see. They see your paycheck, right? That you have just enough money to buy a game, and they want to make sure that they get that and then some, because they want to appeal to your need to buy, your addiction, or whatever it is, and they want to abuse that. That's what they're doing. They're abusing that. They're abusing that weakness, that inherent human weakness to spend, right? So you deserve a game that respects your time. We deserve a game that respects our time, your dollar, and your choice to play at your own pace. And that's the reason why I precisely mentioned Marvel Rivals, that I bought a battle pass in Marvel, 2 battle passes in Marvel Rivals. And I know I can go back. I don't play it all the time, and I know I can go back and play it and make progress on that battle pass again. I think that that's just like, that's great. That's the reason why it compelled me to buy. I wouldn't have bought it otherwise, because I don't play it that much, because I play Overwatch. And it's just like, that's nice. It feels good. It feels good. It feels like they were thinking about us there, You can just play at your own pace. Hell, you can buy all the battle passes if you want to, and then just beat them at your own pace, at your own time. So, the conclusion, and I just want to end it with my perspective, right? This is just me yapping. This is just my only motive here, really. I just needed to get this out. I need to get this out of my system, and it's going to be a while before it's out of my system, because we know this is going to keep going, right? But if you're also sick to death of paying full price for half a game, and then being hit with this constant greedy live service bullshit, then say so. I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't fail because of its demographics, in my opinion. I think it failed because it was a single player game pushing monetization. Because the best item in the game wasn't even in the game, it was in the store. That's why it failed. It didn't fail because Yasuke had a moment where he could be gay. That's not why it failed. Sure, I don't think it should have been there. It doesn't fit the story, it doesn't fit the time, but I just don't think that's why. I personally myself, if I played Shadows and I saw that mission or whatever as Yasuke, it wouldn't have bothered me as much, even though it doesn't fit. I mean, I am a writer and I have my opinions on that. I don't think that it belongs there, but you know what? Whatever. The game is still decently good, and you know what? Everything that's there, there's no monetization. I bought the game for $80, and now I can play the game for $80. Everything that they had to offer, but that's not the case, right? So, again, just let me know in the comments. Like, I'm not trying to push this onto anyone. Really, this is just my opinion, and like I said, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own, way of looking at things, and some people love the big game industry. I personally love AAA games. Well, at least I used to love them, right? I used to play a lot. I have, like I said, I have a list of games that this spans from, like, games that a lot of people didn't really play, a lot of people that didn't really love, like, for example, Dragon's Dogma. I'm like a hardcore fan of Dragon's Dogma, and then the second game just turned out to be quite bad. Really, it was just empty. It was soulless. It was buggy too. It was a buggy mess. I had a pretty beefy computer, and I couldn't run the. I just these are the things that I think are the problem, right? There's a lot. I mentioned there's a lot, just shit on top of shit, and then you have this, like, shit sandwich, right, of the video game industry. But what happened to Team Cherry is one of the worst things ever. I mean, they made their peak player count. I mean, it reached almost what Battlefield 6 reached for a single player game. That is crazy. That is, like, I mean, maybe it reached more. I'm not even sure. I haven't even checked. The last time I checked, I think it was pretty high up there. It was really high up there. And that's great. And for those people who are just, like, salty or whatever, like, oh, how dare you succeed? How dare you take your time? How dare you have fun making games? While we're over here struggling to make ends meet because of all of our bloat $500-800 million, like, input for a game just to make a game. Like, this amount of money being wasted. Look, well, just tell me, like, what is the most egregious live service failure you've seen lately, right? What was it? The battle pass, the missing content, or the constant need to log in? Like, what really pisses you off? What is the worst thing for you? For me, I have to say, I don't mind battle passes, to be completely honest, when they're in the right space, right? I don't think they belong in single player games. For me, I think the worst thing has to be the missing content. That is just the worst for me, especially when you play game number 1 and then you go play game number 2, and game number 2 has actually less content than the first game. You're paying the same or more for the game. That makes no sense. So again, that's just what, yeah, that's what. I just wanted to talk about that. I just wanted to start this video trend of spewing, right, yapping, and just ranting about this crap, and I'm gonna have one thing after another, and if this takes off, cool. If it doesn't, I'm still gonna be making videos. I don't care. I didn't do it for it to take off. So, but again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone here, and for those of you guys who watched this video, thank you for your time. It's much appreciated, because time is money. It really is. So, again, have a great day. Take care.